Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video might seem a little bit random, but to be honest, this is something that I've wanted to talk about and film for quite a while, and I've had one or two people actually ask me to do it as well. And it's something I'm pretty passionate about. So whether you guys are saving for a car, saving for a house, saving for your next holiday, or just saving so that you can go on a really big shopping spree, this is definitely going to be a video for you. Now I know this may seem a little bit ironic coming after a Gucci haul where I spent over $600, but I worked that into my budget. I knew exactly how that was going to affect my savings, and I was willing to make that sacrifice just for that month. Now before we jump into this, of course it is going to be different for absolutely everyone. We all earn a different amount, we all have different living circumstances, and we all have different things we have to pay for. So this is just going to be a brief savings outline, and you can easily take this and apply it to your weekly earnings. So without further ado, I've got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump straight into it. So the very first thing I want to mention is the Barefoot Investor. Now I'm sure you've heard of this book, a lot of you probably have read this book, or maybe you've given it a go and then kind of realized, like me, that a lot of the things don't actually apply to you. It's definitely directed more at an older audience, I think. So I definitely got a lot out of it. This savings plan is kind of loosely based on some things in that book, but I've definitely made my own alterations and sort of customized it to my lifestyle. So you can definitely customize it to your lifestyle. If you like to go out a bit more than me and spend a bit more money, then you definitely will have to make some changes. So yeah, that book is definitely a great place to start. It really did get me started and inspired to start saving again. So no matter how old you are, it's definitely going to help you in some way. So I highly recommend picking it up. It's pretty affordable. I think I paid 20, maybe 25 for it, but it's definitely worth the money in the long run. Now moving into our savings plan. So I highly recommend that you guys actually go pick up a pen and paper and do this along with me now, because otherwise you'll probably forget, and then you might come back to this video a few weeks later and think, why didn't I start saving from the get-go? So the first thing you're going to do is figure out how much money you make each week. Now, I get paid weekly. I know a lot of people do, but also they get paid fortnightly and monthly. So of course, if you get paid fortnightly, you want to split that number into 2, and if you get paid monthly, you want to split that into 4. Now that you have that number, I want you to automatically split it in half, and that half is going straight into your savings account. I will talk a bit about accounts later because that is another thing I'm very passionate about. And every time I talk about it, me and mum, we both sound like we are advertising for the company. And we're really not, we just love it. So this is one thing that differs a little bit from the Barefoot Investor. I'm pretty sure he only says 40% or maybe 60% of your earnings, but I think 50% is just a nice easy number, unless you really make a very small amount of money. But odds are if you make a really small amount of money, you're probably living at home or somewhere where you don't really have to pay as much. Now I know we don't all work a part-time or a full-time job, so if you're a casual, this is going to make things a little bit more difficult. If you have a week where you don't earn very much, you're not going to be able to throw away half of that into savings because you have things you need to pay for. So you're not going to be able to save the same amount every single week or every single month, but at least you're still going to be saving something. So if you do have a week where you really don't earn very much, maybe just do 20% of your income or even 10%. Just get something into that savings account. The next step is figuring out all of your outgoing payments. So these are going to be things like your phone bill or a credit card bill, or if you have one, or insurance on your car, rego on your car, food shopping, petrol, anything that you can think of that you spend money on every single week or every single month. You are going to want to calculate this into your budget right now. I would also recommend with things like petrol and groceries, try and set yourself a budget there so that every week you're spending the same amount. Mum and I probably spend 90 to 100 on groceries, and with petrol I put in $40 a week. it's a bit more like 50 lately, but still, at least I always know it's going to be a set amount. And if you're kind of in between amounts, like say you 45, then up it to 50 so that when you're budgeting, you're always going to have extra money left over rather than not enough. Now, I know some payments like a phone bill or car insurance will come out monthly. So again, you want to take that number and divide it by 4 so that you can figure out the weekly amount that you would be paying towards these things. Another tip I strongly want to recommend, but I know it is not plausible for everyone. It wasn't for me for so many years, but now I'm determined to do it every single year. And that is, if you have things like your car reg, your insurance, I don't know if there's really anything else you can do it with, but big bulk payments like that, get them out of the way when you have to pay them. Pay the full year's amount. Don't do it monthly, because for one, you will save about usually $100 minimum by paying it all in one go. And it also just means you don't have to stress about it for a whole year. And trust me, that feels so good. I remember last year was the first year I did it, and then I did it again this year, and it was invigorating. I swear, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Obviously I didn't, because I didn't have the money, but if you can, highly recommend that. Even if it means eating 2-minute noodles for a few weeks, it's worth it. So now that we've done those two big things, you've got half of your weekly earnings and all of your outgoings. Of course, we're going to take your outgoings and minus them from half your paycheck. And what you're going to be left with there is your play money, fun money, socializing money. This is going to be money that you spend on food, like eating out or takeaway, going to the movies, doing social things, drinking, hanging out with your boyfriend, family, whatever you like to do that costs money, maybe a little bit of shopping. So I'm usually left with about $100 a week, and that may sound like a bit, but it can definitely be very easy to spend very quickly. But I choose not to drink, and I don't do too many social things. I don't like to drive too far, but also it's split between me and my boyfriend, so that definitely helps. So yeah, if you do drink, this may be a little more difficult and you may have to save a little bit less. But if that's what you want to do, then that's completely fine. Now, if you really want to get deep into the savings game, you're going to want to have at least 3 accounts. So one is obviously going to be your savings account, one's going to be your spendings, and one is going to be where all like your outgoings money goes for all your bills and stuff. So once you've figured out the amount of play fun money that you have for the upcoming week, you want to put that into that spendings account so that you can always see how much you've got to work with. And of course, try not to move any extra money over, because that's just going to throw everything off. But sometimes it happens, things come up that you aren't prepared for, or you didn't know about, or they're just spontaneous and you need to spend a bit of extra money. And that's completely fine. Just try not to do that all the time. Now, there's going to be weeks where you spend all of that money easily and you have nothing left at the end of the week. But of course, there's also going to be times where you don't spend it all, because maybe you didn't do anything for the week. You didn't do anything extra. And so you've still got, 50, 100, 150, however much money sitting there. So what you can either do is one of two things. You can move that excess money straight over into savings, and then you've gained yourself an extra bit of savings on top of what you already saved by putting half your paycheck through. Or you can leave that money in there so that 4 weeks, like I said, where you may need to spend a little bit extra, there's already that little bit of money just hanging around in that account, so you don't actually have to dip into your savings. For me personally, I probably would do the second option so that I do have a little bit of extra money floating around. Because then if I just feel like going shopping or going out to a really nice dinner or treating myself or treating Jake, I can do that. And because I don't go out very often, I really cherish those experiences. Even drinking sometimes. You can also change which one of 2 options that you pick depending on how much you need to save. Obviously, if you have a deadline and you need to save for something in 3 months, then every time you have extra money, you're going to want to put it in your savings. But if you were just saving sort of for the sake of saving, then you're better off just enjoying your life, and you're going to have fun and also be making savings every single week. So really it depends on the circumstance. Keeping that little bit of extra money around as well instead of putting it into savings will really help you if you're a casual. So maybe one week your salary might be way less than the week before, but you've still got that spending money, so you're not just gonna have to be a hermit and cry in your bedroom all week because you don't want to spend any money. So to wrap up, before we jump in and talk a little bit about accounts, I don't want to bore you guys too much, Basically, after a while, whether you are a casual, part-time or full-time, you are going to see a pattern in how much you can save each week, each month. Being casual, it'll definitely take you a lot longer to figure out an average, but once you have that average, make that a goal. So for instance, if you notice that over a couple of months, you're roughly saving $700 a month, maybe sometimes less, maybe sometimes more, make that your goal. So every month you know you want to save $700. So split that into a weekly amount and you know exactly how much you want to save every week. Because what this is going to do is, obviously having a goal is always great. It helps motivate you, makes you feel good, and it also means that once you hit that goal, you've done it. You might hit that goal 3 weeks into the month and you've got extra money for the 4th week, or you've got extra money into the savings. So as long as you are hitting that goal each month, then you are all good. But also, don't punish yourself if you don't hit that goal, because it's not the end of the world, but generally after a few months, you're going to figure it out and you're going to be able to do it. So moving on to accounts, I'm sure some of you probably know what I'm about to say, and that is open up an ING savings account. You will not regret it. Man, the interest rate on this account is insane. It's a savings maximizer account. So like I said, I have 3 accounts. I have an everyday ING account, which is my everyday account. I have still my old account with National Australia Bank, or NAB, because I just find that easier. And ING actually do recommend that you have an outside bank account as well. And then I have my maximizer, which is where all my savings go and where I get a crap load of interest. Now, the general rate of interest on an ING maximizer account is already pretty good, but you can get bonus interest each month, which is, to be honest, like double my normal interest each month. So it really does make a difference. And you only have to do 2 things to get that interest. And if you have a pretty steady job, you're going to be able to do these things easily. So first thing is you have to have $1,000 pass through your Orange everyday account. So like I forgot to mention, you do need that account because the 2 are linked. So obviously if you put your salary into that account every month, every week, then you're going to have $1,000 pass through easy. And then you just have to make 5 transactions. So obviously pay for your fuel, pay for your shopping, pay for a juice, pay for some McDonald's, and just anything, as long as the transaction isn't pending, which it generally wouldn't be, it would only take a couple of days to clear, then that's all you have to do. For a whole month, you just have to make 5 transactions. So I use my everyday account as my normal card account. So for me, that's easy. I could make 5 transactions in one day. So $1,000 and 5 transactions, and then that is going to get you your bonus interest on the amount that is in your savings maximizer. I hope that's not too confusing. I'll leave the ING website down below so you can read more up on it, but pretty sure that makes sense. So for instance, I will let you guys know the interest that I got for the month that just passed. I do have a significant amount in my ING account. I'm not rich by any means. Remember, this is for a house, so of course I'm wanting to save quite a bit, but my normal interest was $12.20, and then my bonus interest was $22. I know. So I made just shy of $35 of interest just for having my money sitting there in an account and using my card. So that's pretty amazing if I don't say so myself. Even if you only have a couple of hundred or a couple of $1,000s in that ING account, you are going to notice that interest, and each month seeing that interest go up, it's just going to motivate you to save even more, because that's what it does for me. Sometimes I think, oh, it's just so hard. I want to enjoy this more. I want to enjoy that more. I don't want to save any money. Screw this. And then I look at that and I just think, damn, $35, and I didn't have to do anything. Only negative is, which most people should know, is that you do get taxed on your interest, but of course that's free money being given to you, so I think they have every right to tax that. You can't just get something for nothing in this world. So that's all I'm going to say about accounts. Like I said, I don't want to bore you guys, but I feel like I've given you enough information, and if you want to find out more, obviously you can do your own research. That's what I did a lot of, and just came to the conclusion that ING was the best, and they're proving that to me every month, so I am super happy. So that wraps up today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you could tell how passionate I am about savings. I had so much stuff written down, and I'm pretty sure I got through it all. If you have any more questions, of course, leave them below and I will answer them. But at the end of the day, I hope I've just inspired and motivated you guys to get saving. Whether you hadn't even thought about saving at all, or whether you wanted to but didn't know how to start, I hope you got something out of this video. And let me know in the comments what you were saving for, because I'd love to know. Make sure you give this video a massive thumbs up if you did enjoy it, subscribe down below if you are new, and of course don't forget to click the little notification bell so you don't miss another video. And I hope you're all having an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!